Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 13th of October 2022. 13 is a number unlucky for some, and I would say it's certainly unlucky for the powers that shouldn't be. Quite a long time ago, I said in one of these videos that we are going to get to a tipping point. We're going to have some kind of news that comes out which is just going to really be the big thing that gets out everywhere and wakes everybody up. And I really do think we've got that now. I'm sure you've seen it, this interview between the Dutch MEP, member of the European Parliament from the Netherlands, Mr. Roos, Robert Roos, interviewing Janine Small, who is an executive for the company that starts with PF. And if you get anyone who now says, oh yeah, you know, you're just listening to YouTube conspiracy nonsense, well, I'm afraid it doesn't really get any more mainstream than a member of the European Parliament and an executive from the company that starts with PF, does it? So yeah, that old chestnut argument really doesn't wash anymore with me, I'm afraid, and it doesn't wash with so many others either. And boy oh boy, has this news exploded everywhere. It's on every Telegram group, it's on pretty much every channel on this platform that talks about this kind of thing, and it's on a lot of mainstream platforms as well. Obviously the likes of GB News and Fox News over in the United States are all over it, and it's just getting out everywhere. Like I said yesterday, you've got the likes of Piers Morgan being forced to do some serious backpedaling, and yeah, but he's feeling like a right idiot now, as are all of these other jokers. Not that we'll forget what they did, of course. I'll come on to that in a minute or two. But yeah, it is getting out everywhere, and the mainstream media aren't going to be able to keep a lid on this one, I don't think. Everybody's going to end up hearing about this, and then people are going to say to the mainstream media, well, why aren't you reporting on this? It's kind of important that you do. So yeah, they're not going to be able to hold this back for much longer, I don't think. And we've even had the likes of Nigel Farage tweeting the interview sort of by Robert Roos to his following. It doesn't matter what you think of Nigel Farage, whether you love him, hate him. Point is, he's got a following of well over 1 million people on Twitter. So when he tweets something like that, it's going to go out to a lot of people and get spread around a lot more people. And that, coupled with everybody else spreading this news, it's just going to get to everybody eventually, I think, and in very short order as well. Even the likes of Dr. John Campbell, I saw a video of his this morning which actually contains the interview between Roos and Small, so I couldn't link to that directly yesterday, so I'll leave a link to John Campbell's video and you can sort of go and see that. I'll put a link in the description box and the comment section below. Of course, John Campbell was a very big advocate of muzzles and the V and all of the other restrictions. So for someone like him to be speaking on this matter and speak out against it and saying what a scandal it is really quite something. They really are waking up now, as they're being forced to. So we're talking about this, I'm sure you know about this, but we're talking about this whole thing where the company that starts with PF have admitted that they had no data whatsoever when they began rolling out their treatment that it would prevent transmission of the lurgy. And of course, that is what all of these governments and all of these shills and all of these bad actors have been sort of going on about, trying to get everybody to have the thing on the basis that it's not just for you, it's for us and the whole society as well. It turns out that was a right old load of rubbish, and it's right out of the horse's mouth that it's a load of rubbish as well. So and that was Robert Roos saying that as well. So it's undeniable now, isn't it, that we have just been conned on a monumental scale. Of course, most people watching this channel will sort of know from day one that the whole thing was a scam. It never made sense to me. Why do I need to get the thing if you've had it? The thing either blimmin' well works or it doesn't. If it does work, just go and get the thing and get on with your life and don't worry about what I'm doing. And if it doesn't work, well, why do you expect me to go and have something that doesn't work? So it never made sense. And as one fantastic meme kind of illustrated brilliantly, it's a bit like someone telling you to put your umbrella up on a rainy day, otherwise their one won't work. And that really is, or was for me, just how stupid and ridiculous it was. And I saw right through it from day one. And it turns out that I was right, and you were right as well to smell a rat. So going back to the likes of Piers Morgan, they're backpedaling and they're saying, sort of based on what I knew at the time, it seemed like the thing did prevent transmission, and that's why I was having a go at the Unveed so much. But I've now changed my mind when it became apparent that it doesn't stop transmission, and I'm allowed to change my mind, which that's what basically Piers Morgan said when he was trying to defend himself against his previous position. And I agree, normally you have got the right to change your mind, I don't dispute that. But the trouble with people like Piers Morgan, someone in his position, he was so vehement that he would have forced a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't have had the thing to go out and get it, and he would have incited a lot of people out there to turn on friends and family who weren't getting it, and to put pressure on them to go and get it. And probably quite a few of those people then did buckle and went out and got the thing. Otherwise, they weren't going to be able to see children, grandchildren, grandparents, parents, friends and other family. So when you're in that position, you can't just backpedal and say, I was mistaken at the time, and I'm allowed to change my mind, because what these people did by stirring up this kind of hatred, basically that is the way Holocausts start. If we'd carried on going down that road, the baiting and the name calling and the exclusion from society would have just ramped up until we would have been looking at concentration camps, I believe. If it had gone down the very dark road, it was going down very rapidly at one point. So these people can't be forgiven, and we need to remember this. We need to remember this, how dark things became, how very close we came to going to a very dark place in history, or revisiting very dark places in history. And we need to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again. I don't care if something 10 times worse than the lurgy comes along and a treatment comes along which is actually effective against it, even then you still don't discriminate against people who want to make their own choices as far as their own bodies are concerned. So it must never happen again. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more people backpedaling furiously over the next few weeks, and I think we are going to see even bigger things come out as we go through the autumn. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be, well, frankly, quite worried as far as their positions are concerned. I think we're going to see a lot of resignations and a lot of people being called out for what they were and what they supported. So going to be looking at the news with very great interest as we go forward. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.